Let's reflect on last week. Last week, we got the opportunity through the gates that are active in the field called 64 and 47, this mental pressure to see the abstract patterns of things, to be illuminated to the story that is trying to be told. And we sat with that mental pressure and we saw what stories from the past that were brought up emotionally in our bodies. We felt the emotional triggers of the world around us on the world stage and in our tribal environments. We felt the effects of the chaos triggering old emotional wounds or thought patterns that still live within us that are asking for evolution. And so when we sat with that mental pressure, we allowed the emotions to come to the surface, then we practice regulated expression. Then we practiced being able to be intoxicated to the truth of your role in this story instead of feeling oppressed by your existence in this life. This was what we sat with last week. And I hope that you found comfort and solace in whatever way that you are able to apply that to your life. So thank you for doing it. And now let's get into this week. There is a very unique tension and opportunity that's unfolding for us, right? A chance to witness our limitations, honor what they reveal, and step into something completely different with the sun in gate 56 and the earth in gate 60. This is this beautiful dance between what narrative we are telling and do our words align with destruction or truth? Do we call these moments that we come up against in gate 60, do we call them limitations or do we see them as thresholds? This is an opportunity to reframe our limitations as wisdom givers, because these limitations, these places where constriction lives in our life, where we feel limited by circumstances, we feel limited by chaos, we feel limited by ability. These limitations show us where growth is possible. They help us reframe. This is something that I get to breathe through and find the play within. With Pluto conjunct the Earth in gate 60, there is a pull to review the deep roots of these limitations. Are they ancestral? Are they familial? Are they cultural? Are they due to your personal individuated trauma? Where did they come from? And are they ready to be released? Healing comes from acknowledging that these ancient contracts, if you will, exist, and choosing to honor what served us while gently allowing what is no longer serving us to be put down with honor, with integrity, with respect. Healing through limitations is the awareness that play in chaos is what brings mutation, brings change. When we handle dysregulation, change in our life or our culture or our politics or our country, when we remember that experimentation and that being able to adapt when you bump up against something that doesn't necessarily work, but seeing what did work, taking what does, and moving it into the next thing without being bogged down by the idea that you've made a mistake yet again, or you've done it wrong, or the pessimism that comes with it will never work. This is a time to be creative, to be innovative, to allow these limitations to show you where play lives. With Chiron in gate 3, there's a beautiful opportunity for wisdom to come through play. Your next jump in the spiral will be through your ability to play with the world. I wanted to offer also that with the moon trine Chiron on Saturday and Sunday, This is the opportunity to move into that emotional healing through play, through expression of the body from the emotions in some kind of way. That will be invited on Saturday and Sunday. All the while this week, with gate 20 being activated in the now, this ability to be able to be who you are, to have the voice of who you are now, right? There is sometimes a disconnection between who our inner self is and what comes out of our mouth, who comes out of our mouth. Disconnection, depending on the way that you are designed. And so with this gate 20 activated in the field, this is the voice of I am. This is the voice of our deepest, most individuated truth in the moment. And so allowing that to bring its existential, shocking, maybe presence of I am. Saturn and Neptune conjunct in gate 25, this theme of spiritual testing, this discipline versus nebulousness, this ability to innocently allow the authentic nature of who you are to be expressed. When we are brave enough to innocently express ourselves in the moment, we feel a sense of freedom that is unexplainable unless you've done it. And so with this theme of spiritual testing, this discipline versus surrender, this ability to let myself be who I am in a disciplined way. I know it sounds paradoxical, and it is with Neptune and Saturn both in this gate. It is a balance between allowing your nebulous mind to bring in a possibility that you didn't know you had access to, and Saturn's ability to bring the truth and practicality of that into you as yourself. The North Node and Venus, the channel activation that's happening here in the 2212. This is, I believe, in my experience, one of the most beautiful comings together of individual emotional truth. Now, we as humans that are alive right now are traveling what it means to be emotionally intelligent. We are on the threshold of a new way walking through the world with truth in our emotions without those hurting the other. The ability for all of us to say, oh, you're feeling some kind of way, pass the butter, without feeling as if it is my fault, and being able to handle my own internal triggers that occur when you're feeling some kind of way, that I can ground myself in myself, understanding that it is me that is responsible for me, and that my emotional field, the water in my body, is something to experience, not make decisions about. We are all in this learning curve right now. And so everything that is happening in the cosmos as inviting this new way to be emotionally intelligent, inviting you into this transformational awareness that allows you to know that other people's feelings are none of your business. And they're not meant to disturb the water in your body either. You being a sovereign cellular being, moving through the world, having your emotional experiences, allowing others to have their own, and holding capacity for. This 2212 is the expression of my regulated emotional individual truth. Now, I want to remind you that individual truth, my truth, your brother's truth, your wife's truth, your children's truth, all is a truth that has never existed before, because they have never existed before. But sometimes we have this imagination that says that we must feel, be, act the way that we have always felt, be, and acted. But to remember, this 2212 is the expression of me, my emotional truth, based on my experience of the emotional field around me, that has never been expressed before. It may have the same ring as somebody, but it's never said through the lens of my truth. And 2212 activated in the cosmos with the node and Venus is the ability to connect with the values, the morals, the what do I want through my emotional, the experience of my emotional past and my emotional future. Who am I now, and how can I express that and be that in the world? And when we can all be that and connect to that 2212 inside of us, that ability to express ourselves emotionally with grace, we then impact and change everyone that we express ourselves to. So this is really potent energy this week. Of course, it is every week. It's potent and it's on the edge because we are on the edge of being alive. And so I'm going to get into now each and every day with those somatic practices. Thanks for being here.